So I want to do a video on these new tools that I bought. So I got them last year, so I've used them for about a year now. And we have a ton of projects here. We have an off-grid homestead that we're building. And before, I would use my other tools. I had a Bosch miter saw, and I bought a Skill table saw, like the worm drive one, which was really nice. Problem is, I had to plug it in. So we don't have any power here. I would have to use a generator. And when you're using these tools, a lot of times you're not consistently using them. You're making a couple cuts, then you go nail it in, or you do something else, and then whatever the project might be, you might not use the tool for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And you'd either have to turn the generator off or listen to the thing run while, you know, you make a cut 5 minutes later. You're probably not going to turn the generator off, start it up every time to make 5 cuts, turn it off for a few minutes, you know. So that's why I went and bought these tools. I also needed tools. I own an electrical business, so I was ready to upgrade from Makita is what I was using, and they just weren't as powerful, so I wanted to try DeWalt. So I bought the first set of DeWalt FlexVolt, the drill, the worm drive type skill saw, and a nail gun, and a Sawzall. And I had those for now almost, I think about 2 years. But about a year ago, I went and purchased the miter saw and the table saw. So I'm not quite sure why, but the table saw just runs off batteries. There isn't a way to plug this into a generator. But the miter saw comes with a way to plug in, like an adapter that can plug into, you know, 120 volt power or a generator and run it that way, which is nice. So you got both options, but the table saw only comes with one option, and that's the battery, which for us works well because I am, again, off grid. We're 3 miles away from power. We have to build, I'm building a cordwood construction house off of this cabin, but I also have tons of other projects, too many to name, but built this woodshed and I built this barn. So there's a lot of cuts to make on something like this. But I want to just show how long the batteries last, give you kind of an idea. I'm going to be using the miter saw mostly, just a couple cuts with the table saw, so I'm not going to give you a real good gauge on how long the battery on the table saw will last, but I can tell you it does last a good long time. Enough for what pretty much anybody would need. It's not annoying when the battery stops or whatever. It'll last me like a whole day of making rip cuts and stuff. Almost anyway. The miter saw, again, we'll see kind of how long it lasts today. So what we're going to be doing is making cuts on all these boards going across the entire length of that soffit. So we're going to be doing that on this side. So that's what we're going to do. I got to make 2 cuts per board. So 1 flat cut to butt up against the actual barn wall, and then I have to make 1 angled cut for the other one. It's through 1 inch, that's 1 inch, not 3/4 inch pine, and it's about 8 inch, I believe, width, just to give you an idea of what we're doing. Again, you don't have to sit there and listen to the generator. You can nail in, peace and quiet, listen to the damn birds, and then come and make your cut, not have to start a generator, waste gas. Then at night, to charge the batteries, I realize you have to charge the batteries, but then I'm doing it on the convenience of my time, meaning when I start the generator to get the lights going in the cabin, you know, it's dark, sit and watch a movie, I can charge my batteries. And because it doesn't take hardly any power to run TV and the 1 LED light it takes to light up that cabin, or 2 for when we cook. Anyway, point being is it's more efficient to run the generator and charge the batteries at night and not listen to it running while I'm working. And when I'm finished, I can tell you that if you're a carpenter and use these tools, you can get a lot more done with the batteries, because I have to make multiple cuts. Again, I'm an electrician by trade, not a carpenter, so none of my buildings are exactly what you might say square. So I can't just run with 26.5 inches all the way down here. It pretty much changes every couple cuts. So, but the building hasn't fallen down yet in 3 years. So I consider that a success, especially with the amount of snow we got 3 years ago that took down a bunch of buildings in Wisconsin. So yeah, so I also got the nail gun. I actually got the 21 degree collated, I believe it's called, and I believe it holds a 3-inch nail, and the collated, it means like it's plastic, that's the like connector that all the nails are connected with. There is another type that I should have got that has a more aggressive angle, so I can fit more nails in this gun, but the other one is more of an angle, but fits the paper nails, which would have been nice because most carpenters have that type of nail gun. So when I'm on a job site, I could just pick up their nails that they leave all over the ground, sleeves of nails, steal their nails, and then it would save me money. And but you can't fit as many nails in it. I can fit 2 sleeves of nails in this gun, which is handy too. But my other buddy bought the other nail gun, and it's kind of nice because, again, you can pick up their leftover nails, or if you run out, you can borrow some from them. So I can tell you, after using these DeWalt tools for well, the miter saw and the table saw for about a year, but the other tools that I use on a daily basis, because I own an electrical business, so I've used those for about 1.5 years, going on 2 years, I think, and every day, almost every day, not the weekends, and then even got my guys will use them a lot too, and they are hands down the best battery tools I've had, I mean, bar none. I started off 13 years ago when I started in business for myself. I used Craftsman because that's what I could afford, and they're actually, for the money, great tools. And then I went to Bosch, and I'm not impressed by Bosch. I never really liked them. I went from the old school batteries, then I switched to lithium batteries, and the lithium batteries don't work very well when it's cold out. Because I keep my tools in my van. My van's not in a heated shop or anything like that, so when I get to the job site, they're as cold as it is outside. And below zero weather, you pop them in, and they're not going to work for you. You're going to have to warm them up first. You got to warm them up to charge too, but that goes for everything. You got to warm up the battery to charge it. But then I switched to Makita, and I had those for a couple years. So each one I had for 2-3 years. And Makita, they're pretty good, but I finally switched to DeWalt, and it just blows the other ones away. I mean, you can use the batteries right away. Doesn't matter if it's below zero. You pop them in the gun, into the skill saw, the battery drill, and it will work for you. Bosch and Makita, not the case. Just the last couple weeks ago, I was working here, and because now I have my Makita set here, and I put the Makita battery in, and I know it was fully charged because I've charged them all the night before we left, like 2 weeks prior, and it didn't work for me. Popped in the DeWalt, same deal, charged that too, and that was in the same cold for 2 weeks, and it worked. So I really like the DeWalt, and my guys I've beat on it. My guys have beat on them for going on 2 years, and I love the things. And all my guys have Milwaukee tools, and I just think personally that the DeWalt is more well built. When you hold on to a DeWalt drill and you hold on to a Milwaukee drill without the battery, you can just tell the weight difference and stuff, and I think they're just built more robust. But a lot of people disagree with me on that. I think if you're going to buy a corded tool, you buy a Milwaukee. Being in the trades, electrician for over 20 years now, Milwaukee drills will take a beating. You know, you're working at a shop with 6, 8 different guys beating on the same drills day in and day out, corded drills, and they last for 5, 6, 10 years. It's unbelievable. I've bought DeWalt corded pistol drill, and it didn't even last me. I think I used it like 5 or 6 times. Didn't using hole saws, like 4 1/4 inch hole saws to vent out bat fans and stuff, because I don't know why electricians have to vent out bat fans. But anyway, and it broke. Got it fixed. Same thing. I think I used it a few times. Broke again. I went with a Hitachi after that, and that lasted a few years, and that finally is starting to give me problems. But my Milwaukee bazooka drill is what we call it. It's a really long extension on a regular drill. But anyway, we use those all the time, and we've beat on them, and I've had mine since I've been in business for 13 years, and it still is working. I've had to replace the cord, but other than that, the drill hasn't broke on me yet. In my opinion, if you want a corded tool, Milwaukee is hands down the way to go. But for battery tools, I think DeWalt's the way to go. So that's my opinion. But we're almost done here. Got a little bit left. And then I can put the trim piece on the bottom here and then start working my way down on the battens. So I got to cover up each one of these joints here. And that'll be a lot of little cuts and stuff. But anyway, we could check the battery power now. I'm about 3/4 done. And I've been using it for, it's been about an hour. So I got 2 bars out of 3. 2 bars out of 3. I'm pretty sure those were fully charged. They had all the bars lit up, so they last a long time. So I'm not going to go over all the features. I'm sure you can find that on a different video with somebody who knows more than I. But my old miter saw was only able to, which was a Bosch, was only able to go one way, and this one goes both ways, which has been nice. And it's also a slider, obviously, which is really handy. I found myself with my old miter saw, which is just a 12-inch standard, it did slide, that I would come across boards all the time that I wanted to cut, and I had to flip them around, and if there was like an angle, it was just a pain in the butt. So for me, it's nice having a slider. There's so many boards that you cut that you have to go to the table saw to cut instead, or flip it around to cut. And now I don't have to deal with that. Takes 2 batteries. Like I say, we did all of these cuts up there, and probably half of those I had to cut twice. Some of them even 3 times. But and the battery power still is, let's see, what's that, 1 now. So count how many boards this is. About 60 boards, and I made at least, boy, I would have to say 90. I would say 120 cuts or something today. Because like I said, I had to cut multiple. Plus, I did a bunch of cuts on these. Actually, I cut all of these battens too. So all those little teeny boards, I cut all of these once. So that's obviously that's not a very thick or wide cut, but anyway, and there's still some more power left, so it's not dead yet. For the table saw, I never did have to use it today, but this is just real smooth operation, everything. It's well built. Nice clean. And like I say, it only takes 1 battery, but yeah, both of them combined, they work great for what I'm doing around here. And now when I go in, I'll start the generator. It's starting to get dark. pop a movie in and plug in my batteries, and they'll charge up. They do take a while to charge up, but they're massive batteries, so it takes like an hour, I would say, to charge. And I use these at work. It does take a while to charge them, but again, they last a really long time.